Hey everyone, this is Mike from Mike's Do It Yourself. Today I want to show you how to put in a surge protector for your RV, trailer, fifth wheel, whatever you might have. Now this is a Power Watchdog surge protector, and I'll quickly show you what it comes with. This is the 30 amp with the emergency power off protection, and there is a board in here that is replaceable. Say if the surge protector is used up, and you can just replace the surge protector board inside of it instead of buying a whole nother unit. So that's why these are pretty nice. And they also have an app that will link to your Watchdog on your phone, and it'll tell you what you're using, your total consumption, while you're parked somewhere. So that's a pretty nice feature. Yeah, this is an install video, so I wanted to just quickly show you what it has in it. This is the install information here. Install the brackets, put them somewhere in your compartment, and here's the wiring. And there is an in and an out. So you have the input up at the top and the output, which would go to your circuit breaker panel, and the input would be from outside, whether it's from your house 30 amp that you might have, or an RV park 30 amp wiring. So that would be the input. And it also comes with some stickers and some operating instructions. And here's some install hardware. This is the actual unit itself. It is quite large, so you'll have to make sure you have room somewhere to put it. So this is the unit itself. And it has your error codes on the side. And then, like I said, your input and your output. There's your output. There's the input. Now, if you have a 50 amp, you're going to have 4 wires if you have a 50 amp Watchdog. And this is for the 30 amp, which is a 3-wire. So there are the statistics or the information on this surge protector. The specs, and these are your brackets that go on the back. So why don't we go ahead and start with those. Brackets on here and here. And they want you to use the small recessed screws. Now, before you install the Power Watchdog or the surge protector, you want to go ahead and find a place that it may fit. And it doesn't need to be vented or anything like that. You just need a big enough space for it. So what I did, I pulled up the back panel on the bunk bed, in the back bunk bed in the trailer. And there's a lot of space back here. So there is the slide out controller that I showed you guys on another video. So what I want to do, I want to put it right here, or most likely right in here, and that way it'll be out of the way and I can still link to the phone to see what's going on with it. So what I did, I've got some 2x2s that I cut to about 20 inches or 19 inches, and I'm just going to put them like here and here, and then I'll screw these into the frame here. Now, to actually mount the Watchdog, I used 2x2s, and I'm putting them right next to the Lippert slide out controller, And so these 2x2s, I went ahead and used 2-inch screws, and I went into the frame down at the top and down at the bottom here. And so what I did, I measured how far apart these holes are, and they're exactly 6 1/4 inches from here to here. And so that's how far I spaced these two wooden brackets here. And so that way it'll sit up just like that on them. And then what I have next to do is the wiring. So I'm going to go ahead and wire the out, and then when I turn off the power, I will pull this cord out from the outlet or from the plug, and then that will go into the input. So I'm going to wire up the output first, which is on the bottom. And what I'm using 10-3, and I don't know if you want to consider this Romex, but the kind I'm using, yes, it is actually Romex. And so it has a black, a white, and a copper bare wire. So I'll go ahead and show you the wiring connections on this. Take the plug off, and then we'll just back out these screws. Back out these screws here. Once those are backed out, you'll be able to put your wiring in. Okay. And then I figure about a foot should do it. So we'll cut a foot length. And I would suggest probably about 2 inches to cut these, the Romex cable. That way you're going to have enough room to get it into the bottom of the wire connectors. Go ahead and do some wire stripping here for the 10 gauge. You only need maybe a 1/2 inch, 1/4 to 1/2 inch to wire strip. So now we have ground, neutral, and load. So it's going to be copper, white, and black. So I'll go ahead and stick those in there. Alright, then when you think you have it all in there, go ahead and give them a tug just to make sure they're not going to come out. And we'll go ahead and wrap this with some electrical tape. Now, so before we install it the rest of the way, and before I unhook the power, go ahead and mount this on the wall. And that way this will be all ready to go. Well, it did come with 4 or multiple screws, so we'll just make some small holes here. Okay. Go ahead and install this. Once you get ready to do the wiring to the input of the surge protector, we'll go ahead and shut all the power. All the circuit breakers are off. We'll disconnect battery power. And then really the main thing is to disconnect shore power. That way you don't have 110 or 220 going into your rig. We'll go ahead and disconnect this. So when you disconnect it out here, just make sure you know where the wires go and try to keep your putty intact and do some weather stripping on the outsides once you get it put back together. So these are labeled back here. It says we have white, green for the ground, and then black for the load. So it is sort of labeled on the back of this outlet. And once your outlet's disconnected, you can pull the wiring back into your trailer or RV. Now here we are back inside. Pull the wiring in, and this is what will go on top of the surge protector. But we'll go ahead and get the end ready that will go to the plug. We can do the top connections, and then just make sure you put these rubber caps back on once you've made your connections. So I've got this ready to go for the outside. and then this will go to the output on top. So we'll put those connections, we'll make those connections right now. And once you get those wires connected, you've got ground, neutral, and load, or green, white, and black. You can put your cap back on. And then I'll go ahead and tape this with some electrical tape. And then when you're doing this, make sure that none of the existing wiring has any holes or scratches, or any of the wiring is exposed, except of course for the ground wire. And then we can push this down so the paneling can go back over top of it, like that. All right, and then the only thing left is to hook up the outlet on the outside. Once you get your wires all tight and put in the right location, you can screw this back in. Now that the outside's all hooked up, you can finish the inside here. Yeah, once everything is finished up on the inside, it's ready to be turned on and hooked up to power. Well, once you get it orientated correctly, I had to flip mine over because of course I said in is at the top and the output that goes to your circuit breaker box or your trailer or your RV is to the bottom. So I went ahead and orientated that properly. Now we're able to plug it in and see what happens. Make sure it works correctly. Now the white face means that it's all hooked up correctly as far as your shore power. Now if it had been red, there is an issue, or if you had a code up here, there would also be an issue. So those are the things you'll look at in the manual. Well, this has been Mike from Mike's Do It Yourself. I hope this has been helpful. Good luck on your next home or automotive project. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment.